Thank you. We are following breaking news right now related to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today. Exploitation by Combs. For the first time, we are hearing about victims who say they were minors when they were allegedly assaulted by the music star. The youngest allegedly just 9 years old. The allegations were revealed today by attorneys representing more than 100 alleged victims who are preparing to sue. So let's bring in NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas right now. So Chloe, we know there is currently a press conference underway. We do have a live picture of that. Can you just walk us through these new allegations and tell us if we've heard from Combs yet?
So the individual that you see on the screen right now, that is an attorney based out of Houston, Texas, and his name is Tony Busby. He's been a part of some very well-known litigation over the years involving a BP oil spill, even in music festival crisis where some individuals were killed during a stampede. So he has made headlines before, but this is pretty shocking. So he claims is claiming right now at this press conference that he has had over 3,000 individuals reach out to his law firm in Houston, Texas, that he and his team have been vetting these claims, that now they are representing over 120 accusers, and that over the next 30 days, they will begin to file different civil suits, that this is not a class action lawsuit, that they are going to continue to vet these allegations, but right now they feel strong about these. So he also said today that it's not just Combs that will be named as a defendant, that there will be other high-profile individuals, some household names. He says, quote, many powerful people, there are many dirty secrets. He says that his team has collected pictures, video, and that the allegations include violent, facilitated substance, dissemination of video recordings of minors. So this was something else that they talked about, that there are 25 accusers who were allegedly minors at the time that these allegations took place, starting in 1991, span all the way up over.
Breaking news. New serious allegations have surfaced against music mogul Diddy Combs. Victims, some claiming to have been minors, say they were assaulted by Combs, with the youngest victim reportedly just 9 years old. Attorneys representing over 100 victims are preparing to file civil lawsuits in the coming weeks. Tony Busby, a Houston attorney known for high-profile cases, is leading the charge. He revealed that over 3,000 people have reached out to his firm, and they are now representing 120 accusers. Busby also hinted that others besides Combs could be named in the lawsuits. What was once just rumors is now a growing legal battle.
He also talks about where these individuals are from. He said that they hail from more than 25 states, New York, California, Florida. We know that Diddy had a residence in Miami, Georgia. We've reached out to Sean Combs' legal team for comment. They have not yet responded. Combs is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn while he is awaiting trial on the New York indictment, where he is charged with racketeering and prostitution charges. Now, I also just want to point out that they also claim that 62% of these individuals are identifying as an African American, and that they are evenly split between female accusers and male accusers, and Clay. So this is very interesting. And he said that look, I know that everybody expected me today or wanted me to name other high profile individuals. He says, I'm not going to do that today, but it will come at some point. He says that these names will shock you.
Wow. I mean, shocking details to say the very least. And I'm sure just the start of what's to come.
Meech has had enough and is ready to expose Diddy, a man once known for his glitz and glamour, now facing dark new allegations.
Is facing 5 new civil lawsuits, including one from a woman who alleges she was when she was 19 years old. Combs is currently being held in a detention center in New York City on separate federal criminal charges of racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty.
NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Melas joins us now with this exclusive reporting. So, Chloe, walk us through what we should know about these new lawsuits.
Hey there, guys. These are the first civil suits being filed by Texas-based attorney Tony Busby. He held that press conference not long ago in which he said he was representing dozens of accusers and that he would be naming some high-profile individuals besides Combs. These are the first. And so there were 5 suits filed today on behalf of 4 men and 2 women, all of which are remaining anonymous out of fear, according to these suits. And these allegations, they only name Combs and his businesses and actually a hotel and a department store as defendants. They don't name any other high-profile celebrities. And these complaints span from the years of 1995 all the way up to 2021. They accuse Combs, and we've reached out to his team for comment and have not yet heard back. But I do want you to hear a little bit from my interview that I did just a little while ago with attorney Tony Busby.
There's an overarching theme here, as you probably can see, which is basically Sean Combs feels like he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it. A lot of the conduct alleged is violent, and threats were made. And I think, but for the fact that Sean Combs was arrested and bail denied, these people would not have come forward.
Busby says he's going to be filing other civil suits, and this is all coming as Combs is facing.
Picture this. Getting an invite to a Diddy party was like winning the lottery. Think flashing lights, A-listers like Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, Paris Hilton, and Jennifer Lopez all mingling at one of his legendary bashes.
Yeah. Stage all you gotta do is tickle me, Rosanna. You look amazing.
You look amazing.
Come on now.
How much have you dropped?
Man, I was like 480 pounds at one time, like when Big Pun was alive. Yeah, so this was like years and years and years of understanding my body and what I can eat and what I can't.
So what are you doing differently?
You know, I just lay off the carbs. I eat defensively. I eat what I want to eat, but I eat defensively. Yeah. So you know how you wake up every morning, hopefully everyone goes and brush their teeth first thing in the morning? Yeah, that's what we teach our kids. Right. So that's the first thing I do. I don't care if I'm like this. Well, every time I sit down and eat, I'm eating defensively. I'm like staying away from the bread, staying away from the rice, staying away from the pasta, staying away from, you know, I went to your restaurant and got a little fish with some broccoli.
I know, you can have
that's
that.
That's how I play the game.
I like that.
Maybe some burrata first, but I stay away. It's the carbs that really get you.
Yeah. Well, it's working for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's working.
Thank you.
So, lean back. Congratulations. 20 years. So, Apollo, April 2nd, big night for you.
You know, I started at the Apollo Theater. I won amateur night 4 weeks in a row. So the Apollo really is my home. Harlem and the Bronx, we won. And so I'm calling it $1 billion worth of stars on one stage in one night.
Because there's going to be a lot of guests with you.
Too many. And so what's going on is I'm a native New Yorker, and I'm trying to put a top 5 moment in the history of New York City. I'm not talking about just hip hop. I'm talking about when Muhammad Ali fought at Madison Square Garden. This is something where you go and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I cannot believe.
Who's there? Let's talk about.
We got Dipset, we got the Lox, we got Remy,
Mary J.
If Diddy personally winked at you and invited you to the VIP section, you knew you were in for an unforgettable night. It was all part of his master plan to stay in the spotlight and keep everyone buzzing. He thrived on being the undisputed party king of New York.
A lot of people. I told you it's going to be $1 billion worth of stars in one. Rumors. Big rumors.
But
big rumors.
Drake, wait. Is Drake going to be there?
I thought you would say that. No, Drake is definitely not going to be there.
Okay, so he said no.
But you've been
but he didn't say
on a roll.
I was going to say, he didn't say no to other people.
She was on a roll.
All right.
And it's just going to be one big party, one big celebration of life. You know, it's just going to be a party at the Apollo. You know what I mean? It's going to be an incredible night, and it means so much to me.
April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Is the night. And look, I was saying earlier, it's hard to believe it's been 20 years since Lean Back came out. You know, it's been almost, I guess, 23, 24 years since What's Love, you know, it came out, you and Ashanti. So, like, Remy's going to be there. Is Ashanti going to be there?
There's a possibility.
Okay, so
far you guys are on a roll.
Well, this is what I want to know, though, because I'm trying to think. Put the
I gotta go gambling with you guys.
You got to put the Terror Squad back together. I know you lost, Big Pun and your boy Raul. You've lost some members, but you got to put back together. I don't know if it's for one night only or for a tour. For all us old people who need one more night to go out and see you guys.
Well, you're gonna see us all on stage on the 2nd. You know what I mean? Tone Sunshine, Remy Ma. I'm trying to get.
So there will be a reunion. That night.
We a tight family. We one of the most loyal, tightest families in hip hop. So we together. Like we.
Diddy's fall from grace has been nothing short of dramatic. The man who once ruled the entertainment world is now sitting in a Brooklyn jail cell, facing serious charges like racketeering. On top of that, he's dealing with over a dozen civil lawsuits, accusing him of everything from sabotage to intimidation.
Breaking news in the Sean Diddy Combs case. He's back in federal court today in Manhattan, this time trying to secure bail. The music mogul was denied bail yesterday after his charges. Prosecutors say that the charges stem from years of against women. He has pleaded not guilty to those charges, and he made that plea yesterday. I want to bring in ABC News' Alex Stone, along with ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer for more on this. So again, we're still waiting to hear the judge's decision today because, again, his defense team is trying to get him out on this $50 million bond. And Alex, it does... Oh, my producer just told me in my ear he has been ordered held again. Okay, so the Judge Andrew Carter has decided that Sean Diddy Combs will be held again in a federal facility. So let's jump off right there here, Alex, starting with you. We're learning from our Aaron Katersky, who's in that courtroom, that already this judge was pretty skeptical of some of the arguments that the defense team was making on Diddy's behalf.
Yeah, and that order just coming down right now, Kana, that through the day today, it appeared that the judge was from the beginning skeptical about this, talking about that video that was seen around the world in L.A. of Combs allegedly attacking his then girlfriend, and the judge saying, what's love got to do with that? As the defense had been saying that was a relationship that was deteriorating and that it was nothing more than consensual activity that then had deteriorated from there. But prosecutors said that Combs is a danger, clear evidence of dangerousness, a long pattern of abuse, they were saying today. But the defense offered the sun and the moon, saying, we will do anything if you allow him to post bail. $50 million bail. They would have off-duty police outside his home, control who comes and goes, take away his cell phone, anything that the judge was willing to do. And the word just coming in now, the judge saying no way, he will remain in jail.
He certainly will. And again, sharing reporting from our Aaron Katersky that is in that courtroom. He said that Combs did not appear to react, but that he had his eyes cast downward while he was seated at the defense table when this all came down.
The crazy part, over 100 alleged victims. This is no small number.
And that the government, on the other side of that, provided sufficient evidence that Combs is a danger to the community and a danger to obstruct justice and intimidate witnesses. And Brian, I find some of that language particularly interesting when you think about what his defense attorneys were trying to argue. And they were essentially trying to paint a picture of what it would look like if he was to be allowed out on bail, with security teams monitoring his comings and goings, who would come into the residence. And Brian, his own defense lawyer used the language, what I'm trying to fashion is a situation where any witness intimidation would be virtually impossible.
Yeah, and that was the issue that we saw with the initial judge yesterday, that in evaluating this case for the possibility of bond and or bail, that there's always the issue of flight, whether or not someone's going to flee the state, flee the country, whatever it may be, and not come back to court, but also whether or not that Sean Combs' power and influence could be a force of threatening, witness intimidation, or reoccurring or reoffending in a way that would harm other women in his inner circle, so to speak. And so the defense is trying to fashion a way of saying he has no opportunity to intimidate witnesses, even though there's alleged evidence that he's reaching out to some of those women to try to ensure that they're not coming forward after that Cassie lawsuit came forward. But it seems like, as you quoted the judge, that was insufficient. That whatever the bail package the defense tried to put forward was not enough for this judge, Judge Carter, to say that he would be a safety to the community and would return back to court on each and every date.
I mean, right. Again, there was a head of a private security firm even appearing in court. There would be a pre-approved list of visitors, and Combs would have no access to a cell phone or the internet under this defense proposal that, again, was denied by the judge today. So he will remain in a federal facility until court. And Alex, as we read some of these notes again from Aaron Katersky, it was really interesting when the defense, tried to talk about the trust that they were trying to build with the court in terms of getting Diddy into New York ahead of this and ahead of his arrest, knowing that this was coming. And at one point, the defense called Diddy an actual altar boy. Alex, the judge pushed back on that pretty quickly.
The judge did push back on that, saying no, that you can't say that. And they said today he is eminently trustworthy, is the quote that was used in an argument to the court, saying he came to New York, he is not going to flee, we're going to put all of these different aspects into play, and he will put up $50 million. His Miami home is...
Diddy denies it all. His spokesperson insists he's strong, disciplined, and backed by his family and legal team. But here's the twist. Big Meech, who knows power and influence, isn't staying quiet. He's ready to reveal things that could shatter Diddy's carefully crafted image.
Accusers of Sean Diddy Combs before a federal grand jury. This is seen as a clear sign the Department of Justice could be moving to indict the disgraced music mogul.
We are learning now that federal investigators are in possession of video footage that was taken inside of Combs' residence. We hear that these investigators have been contacting individuals that they have seen on this footage. When the raids first happened, we had a law enforcement source tell us at CNN that the investigation was largely based in sex trafficking, which is what HSI specializes in. Now we are hearing that that scope has been widened and that investigators are really looking into all of these claims put forth in these civil lawsuits. That would include not just sex trafficking, but also money laundering and illegal drugs. I have a source who tells me, quote, "This is much bigger."
Let's rewind to Diddy's rise. He founded Bad Boy Records in '93, launching the careers of hip-hop legends like Notorious Big and Usher. By the late '90s, he expanded into fashion with Scene John, which became a cultural staple.
Attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to procure women and alleged to engage in performances for his own. Where it differs from a mob indictment, it has all the elements of putting together this racketeering allegation of all these moving pieces using resources from his businesses. But the fact that this is about an allegation being accomplished by alleged human trafficking, it's one of the most unique indictments I've ever seen in this area, in the area of the government isn't actually prosecuting other than the human trafficking or prosecuting any type of alleged to women, although that's part of this racketeering scheme. But the actual charges are racketeering conspiracy and transporting individuals over state lines to engage in prostitution. The reasoning around all of this, his alleged motivation as presented in that indictment by the government is for his own personal gratification. And that's just the strangest type of indictment I've ever seen. But I agree with you. This indictment reads, it's very disturbing. The facts presented are out of, a very bad Hollywood story. And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of that have been named freak-offs. And there seems to be a ton of evidence, allegedly, tying this scheme together. So it's an interesting way of prosecuting it, but I understand why they did it that way.
So what did you make of what Elizabeth Wagmeister just reported? And obviously, Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys are going to get their day in court. But the idea that the government, in their characterization, does not say that anybody did any of these things non-consensually. What do you make of that?
I make of that as being a big flaw already in the government's case, which the defense was.
Diddy soon expanded into fragrances, alcohol, and reality TV. But his parties were his true ticket to staying relevant.
Pop star in 1996. Popular TikTok creator Mr. Prada has been arrested and charged with the second-degree murder of a therapist in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, after claims of the influencer's possible involvement went viral on social media. And two of the officers accused of being involved with the 2020 death of Breonna Taylor have been indicted yet again. So let's bring in former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Nima Rahmani. Nima, thank you for joining us again on this Sunday. I want to begin with what so many people are talking about, this Tupac investigation. The family of the hip-hop megastar alleging that Diddy may have had something to do with his murder in 1996. They've hired a powerhouse attorney, a team of investigators. What do you make of this?
Well, Phil, I mean, these accusations have been going on for quite some time, and Tupac's family has hired Alex Spiro, who is actually handling the defense of Mayor Eric Adams, who we've been talking about. And we all know that Diddy's being prosecuted by that same office. Now, the challenge here is, even though the allegations are that, Combs may have been involved in the 1994 shooting of Tupac that obviously didn't kill him, and then potentially the murder 2 years later, someone else is being prosecuted for this murder right now in Las Vegas, and that's Keefe Davis. He's alleged to be the shot caller in the murder of Tupac. So I'm not sure that this investigation will go too far, especially when someone else is being held criminally accountable for that murder.
Let's move on then to the TikTok star, Mr. Prada. He's been charged, possible involvement in the brutal murder of a 69-year-old therapist. The speculation of their connection, something like 10 million views on social media. What kind of role does social media play in a case like this, in pushing a case like this? I mean, kind of in the Diddy and Tupac situation, social media played a